Hey, hey, hey. Nice to see you. Human, yes, you were indeed first. And yes, I'm live. Sean, Mate, Dev, nice to see you. Is that Ben? Aussie Boy, nice to see you too. Yes, so hello. So my aim is I am going to try and squash a lot of bugs. So I have got my Unsight up, and I'm going to just work through these, and we'll see. I would like to get our issue count down below 800 for sure, either by squashing bugs or closing issues. And there's plenty of stuff that's pending triage that we can probably solve. So here's one. We have different behavior around the watch with use root query, with use fetch and use async data. Okay, just let me check this. Okay, that's actually quite simple. Right, so that's not a bug, that is a feature. Okay, Joaquin, nice to see you. And yeah, X Morty, nice to see you too. Okay, well, that was straightforward. Let's see. That's an interesting one. So this is since January. Wait, has it fixed? Been fixed? Oh, no, it is a new issue, an existing issue. So we'll just pull this in. Alvaro. Haha. I am absolutely. Okay. So let's see what the situation here. We have API base. Okay, so we're going to need to have a next public API base in a .env file, I'm guessing. Let's try it. I don't check it as often as I should probably. Okay, so we should just return just console log it. So if I hit 3000, we should get back B. Actually, I'll just do that in the same window. It's simpler. Okay, so yeah, so hit that, and we're getting back B. Now we need to change it to say BA. And we restarted, but I'm guessing it doesn't update. Yeah. So that's the bug. We need to figure out why. And I think this might be related to an issue in Nux CLI where Damien opened a PR, which we need to finish off, I think. So I think this is related. Oh no, not quite. Well, it's related anyway. It's a .env file. So this might be an issue with the Nux CLI, but it might also be an issue with Nuxt itself. So we do have, let's open Nuxt. I was actually working on a PR that somebody else beat me to, so I can review that in a second. Right, so what we want to see here is we have a .env functionality in C12. And this, I think, should handle let's see if this is, if it's going on. We'll see if this. Matt, nice to see you. It's been a long time. So let's see if it's coming from here, or whether it might be somewhere else, because we also have Nux CLI, which is handling the .env as well. So if we open our dev command, we set up .env here, and that might be the issue. Oh, sorry, Ossie, what did you say? Or what am I ignoring something? I'm probably ignoring something. I'm sorry if that is me and I'm ignoring you. That's must be very annoying. What? Why is this here? Okay. Rigora, nice to see you. Okay, so let's see. We need to see where this thing is coming from, where the .env is coming from, because I'm guessing what's happening is it's being. That is very kind. That is very kind, Aussie boy. I guess it's being set in the process.env, and then when it changes, it's not updating. That's my best guess. So, in fact, do we need to do this at all? Because we have a .env config here. So why is this? Why do we set it up separately? Let's see what the. Okay, it's old. It's probably before we had .env support in. Let's just check that. So when did we get .env support in C12? Because I would bet you it's legacy. Boolean or .env options. Okay, it just does the same thing. So actually, I think let's just change this, because I think setup.env is probably necessary for preview, but probably not necessary for here. This, I think, might have actually been related to Damien's PR. Now, this actually only loads the Nuxt options once. So let's just reproduce the bug in our playground. So we have our playground here. Let's pull in our config. And I think we also need an app.view that logs it out. So we're just going to do the same here. Okay. Great, now I think we can get rid of this. Let's just confirm we're having it here. Packages, Nuxt CLI, playground. Yes, the chance of running something like Nuxt native for mobile apps, that I think, that would be nice, wouldn't it? A lot of what Nuxt is doing is web focused though. So it will be, okay, it's empty. This might work. No, it doesn't. It's the same. Okay, so yeah, this is fine. But I think we need to do, I think we basically later create a dev proxy where we let's we create a dev server, and this only sets it to true or false, which is problematic, right? That should be the file name. Interesting. So sorry about this, people. Okay, so .env should be .env options from C12. And so we can set here our CWD and our file name like that. Okay, that seems more correct anyway. Yeah, capacitor is great. Definitely try that out. Okay, so where else are we doing .env stuff here? .env is a path. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And we definitely want to fix this, right? So this should be yeah. Okay, we also need to handle, why is that? Hello. The cat. This is ridiculous, isn't it? Okay. You just stay there. Yeah, you stay there. So where, oops. Somehow I think dev-child needs to specify its .env more correctly, because I guess somehow that's coming through as anything. So it must not be specified. Whereas the dev-child does need to have the ability to read the .env. Okay, so we have probably some shared .env args. We're just going to pass those in here, which should now mean that works. Okay. Where else are we doing stuff with .env? Well, let's see. We need. I think actually we don't need to provide a fallback, because that's probably what is going to be. Yeah. Is that not enough cuddling? Not enough. She is extremely fluffy and very sweet. Now, none of this is actually solving the issue. This is a separate thing that I am. Okay. But this is actually, but these are changes that have to be made. This is a bug. Okay. Like this is definitely right. Okay, so and I'll test it in a second with maybe, because there might be an issue with if a file name was different, because I think that was a problem before, that we weren't respecting different file names. Delete. I hate it when changes like this are made by my IDE. So, hello. Now the next options that we get here, what are they? I guess we have to. Okay, we create dev proxy. We have to figure out where we are loading in the process.env stuff, and it must persist somehow. So we're not updating at any point, because basically what we expect is when Nuxt restarts, we expect the .env to be reinitialized. Okay, let's just see if anything that we have done makes a difference. So we're running our dev server. We have our env file. When we hit the server, we have foo as expected. When we change it to food, it's not updated. So somewhere, and I guess it's C12, is the thing that's pulling in. Let's pull in C12. Ugh. We're going to go into it here. Let's look at the code. Okay, we have setup.env, and we need to So, I mean, this all makes sense. The question, I guess, is just, aha, it's probably that we are setting this. So let's just have a quick, it looks like it's an option to avoid. Let's try that again. Let's just try restarting it and see if that hits when we restart Nuxt. No, it's undefined. So it's a bit strange. Okay, so that's not the thing that's being hit. We want to figure out why. Let's just try this here. Okay, and we're just going to pull out the environment and see, because this, I guess it might be actually be working, you know, it might be logging stuff and putting things into the environment, but Luke, nice to see you. Okay, so we hit our endpoint, we modify our .env file, and we are interesting. Okay, so we have a new, it is updating. So the environment we get back has been updated, but okay, so the environment has been updated. Nothing the matter with the way that C12 is handling this, I guess. The only question is maybe the Nuxt config file. So if maybe what happens if I now change the Nuxt config file, because it might be that it hasn't been reloaded. Maybe it's been cached. No, interesting. Bobby, nice to see you. Looking to make a breaking change in Nuxt that will, you know, break Nuxt I18N. That's the plan. Just kidding. Okay. We're tracking down actually a .env file issue. Or when you make a change to the .env file, oh, I have permission. Where when you have, now Joaquin, we didn't actually make it. It was, okay, where when you make a change to the .env, it doesn't percolate through. Now I'm going to just see what Nitro does about this, because I bet you when, no, maybe not. We have, let's see if we have .env anywhere in here for special treatment. No. Oh. Yeah, Qubit. Data loading pattern. Absolutely, I would use API routes rather than anything else. I wonder if because this could be something to do with Nitro, right? Or it could be something to do. Thank you, Yoa. It would be something to do with could be something to do with when the runtime config is populated. So I'm just going to switch across to. I have too many windows open. Switch across to our next config and just, all right, come on. Add a module to log this. So console log process.env. Okay. All right, let's just restart this. So we have got, yeah, that is there. We're changing it now. And adding it, and we'll just make it bar. Interesting. Okay, so as far as in Jitty, like in that that configuration environment, that was ESLint, Luke. I just saved the file and it reordered it. So in the Nuxt context, it is set. But on the other hand, C12 has reloaded it. So I wonder if this is different if I run it with no fork. Okay, so let's pull in. I'm not actually using Zen. Why is this randomly starting? I'm using Firefox. This is just Firefox, normal Firefox. I basically, I tried Zen, which I really liked, but I saw some very serious security issues that had occurred with Zen that seem inevitable because of the fact that it doesn't have the, it's only maintained by 1 or 2 people. Yeah, I set it up to make it super simple. And actually, this is what I normally do. So you get a very nice minimal environment, but sometimes you need to see the descriptions, but it can be very nice. And this is just straight Firefox. I've not added any any unique stuff to it. It does have some cool stuff. So I have an option here where you can't tell because everything is really all shades of dark, but it does match the color of the sidebar to the site you're on. So if we try like a different site, then the whole thing changes. But at the moment, obviously, this is just the GitHub color. If you go to my own website, it's again very similar, but it is slightly changed. I don't know if you can tell. Unsite, like anyway, so that's I think quite a nice little feature. Okay, this is interesting. So basically, I'm going to restore the fork. I have a cat. You probably can't see the cat. The cat is right here, so I can't really type super easily. But let's try adding that stuff back into C12, and let's have a look at what is. Okay, load.env. We're just going to because I guess this might be called by Nuxt. It might also be called by Nitro. So I think what we want to do is yeah, I have to reach around the cat. Pause. Let's console log trace the environment. Start that again. So Lucas, let's see. I will check it when it has a reproduction, but without a reproduction, I'm unlikely to look at it. So if you can provide one, that would be great. It's probably not coming from Nuxt itself. It's probably coming from something else that you have installed, and the reproduction is really needed to see what that might be. Okay, so here, trace isn't showing up. Let's try logging it. Oh, hello. It's probably lots of stuff. Let's pull out just the thing that we're interested in here. Okay, it's there. Okay, it hasn't updated. That is, okay, so it is coming from C12. But previously we logged it, and we were seeing it. So let's try here. And we're going to call this load. And we're going to call this one setup. Okay, neither of them are updating. Why is that? Let's see what is going on in here. I don't know what you mean by Vite, Lucas. Okay, so this is wrong here, but I thought it was right here. I bet you that would be interesting if it's basically is updating and then updating back. So here's one more try. Okay, so we're going to change this and then change this to foo. And yep, it changes and then changes right back. So we have the applied. Okay, so that's not persisting. That is the issue. So obviously, at some point, process.env.applied has been set to true, but maybe because it's in a... Okay, so where is options.env? Let's try, I have an idea. So let's try going back to here and saying env is process.env. And we'll do the same in dev. Now, this shouldn't really be necessary. I don't feel. Let's try that. Mate, always helpful. Okay, so no. So basically this applied is always false. So it always assigns back the env. Now options env, we shouldn't set options env. So, okay, so maybe that's the problem. So options env, we are calling, this is always going to be false. I mean, it's always going to assign it back. That seems to be just wrong. Should this be the other way around? I think this might just be a straight bug in C12. So let's see why it was created in the first place. So we have this applied, and probably it was added to handle a condition. Okay. Open applied, and we have generic type support. Doesn't seem likely. Here we have update repo. So the idea is that it's going to apply options.env. That's coming in from load env. And there should be, oh, I see. No, this is, I do understand. Like, there's no problem with this. The problem is that the process.env is getting augmented, and then that first augmentation is always overriding subsequent changes. So in a situation where we have a restarting, we probably need to preserve the process.env at the moment we start the server, and then basically, so we should do something like this. Const env is process.env. Oh, but this is not going to work because it will. It's not going to work because that we actually need to augment the process. Sorry, I'm just sort of thinking aloud here. So is the problem that we're setting applied wrongly? Because we're checking options.env applied, we're setting environment applied, and we're never, we should, I guess, set that. And so why would environment, why are we checking if environment? This feels more correct, right? Let's try that again. Interesting. Okay, so I feel like we can't freeze which. Like, it feels to me like, let me just check C12 again. So applied only sets it to the environment. Environment is always going to be this fresh environment. And it never gets applied out. So I think what we want to set it here instead. Because, okay, so we get the setup.env. We set the target environment. Although this deliberately avoids setting applied. So we're never going to be doing that. So like, this is clearly a bug, and it's clearly a bug in C12 because this check is wrong. I think we do need to forcibly set this. So I think we expect error process.env environment variables strings, but I think that should be fine. Now, mind you, it still leaves us with the issue, but it's probably enough for us to get some feedback from Puya, for example. So we'll call this fix applied set flag on options.env to avoid double application assignment. And I'll just quickly explain the issue. Is that correct? Correct. So environment is set here, and the only thing that could set anything is if I think this is a very long-standing bug. Let's try it. Okay, this is Firefox. Let's try that. Okay, well that is, let's assume that we're going ahead with that fix. And let's see, because there's clearly another issue here, because even though this has been updated, we still have the wrong response coming back here. We also, I think, in the Nux config file, even logging it, and it is correct, but at some point, no, this is Firefox. It's not Zen. This is pure Firefox. I promise you. It's just a normal Firefox. I tried Zen, but I was very worried by its security. So if you have a look at this issue, so one, it has a separate update. It has a, yeah, indeed. It has a separate update cycle. So it's going to be outdated. Firefox does have passkey support. It was it was quite a blocker for a long time for me with Zen, but Firefox has great. Oh, that's now fixed with Zen, but it has great passkey support. So that was definitely a blocker for me, but no issues with Firefox and passkeys. Okay, where are we? Obviously the cat needs to be petted. She is. Hello. If I could have like a little sling or something. Hello. She could just sort of sit there. Okay, you go up there and right. Okay, so we're looking at this, and the Nuxt config is correctly set. Let me just try this one more time. I bet if I reload the Nuxt config file, it will be fine. Okay. We have no. Okay, so for whatever reason, the process.env in the Nuxt config file is still outdated. Even though C12 is now loading it, the updated value. So why is that? Oh. Well, let me just quickly make sure that none of the changes that I've applied elsewhere in the project are responsible for this behavior. So if I basically quickly stash all my changes to the source file, the source code, stash save, and we just see if the same behavior replicates. So we're restarting the server. This time we should have we should have a value. Oh, it saved everything. I thought it was only, okay. Right, I only want to save the stuff that is in staged, maybe. Yeah. Okay, so now just restart the server. Okay, we're all good. Hit the endpoint and we're getting back that. So now we're going to change it to foo. It's coming in, the module has the wrong one. And indeed, Nitro still has the wrong one as well. I wonder, it could be if there's multiple versions of C12. Maybe we patched one, but not all of them. I'm not sure though. They all seem to be C12 3.0.2, but I could set a resolution just to make sure that that's the case. Because it seems like this should fix the issue, so we'll just try one more time. And go into C12 and oh, this is without the changes, with only the changes to C12. Right, must remember that. Okay, so load.env we have applied. Okay, this is already set. No. So there's something else that's probably doing something very similar to this and continuing to keep it broken. Okay, so something else, somewhere else, this is happening. Martin, nice to see you. So somewhere else, yeah, here we fully have the correct value. So what is calling setup.env? I guess it's probably C12. Let's check Nuxt and let's check Nitro. So we have let's check Nitro. Okay, it's not. So it's only C12 that's handling this. Okay, that's fine. So C12 is handling it. So we have C12. And the thing that's responsible for runtime config in Nitro is Nitro. That's where this is coming from. So let's open up a Nitro pack. this is going to be a runtime, and I guess. So I just want to confirm that that behavior is happening. So we have our inline runtime config. So let's just log it when we get there. Okay, now my current guess is that maybe Nitro does this once and just doesn't update it. So let's confirm and see whether that's happening. Okay, so we have got on our load. Oh no, this can't be, because we have this coming in, which is right. We have our API. Interesting. So no, API base therefore is going to be augmented at runtime by process.env. Apply env is what it's doing it, of course, and we're using apply env where there. It's probably better. Let's try. Okay, so yeah, there we go. So that is what we're expecting. Our API base, and yeah, it's coming in. So let's just see where stuff is happening. So we are applying the environment, and we have here process.env. So we can just log that. Process.env, and from apply env, process.env dot next public API base. Okay. Yeah. So the environment in here. Sorry if this is really boring for you, by the way. The environment variable here is not updating. So that's inside Nitro. It's also not updating inside the next config. So the next thing is, let's just try no fork, because we tried that before, but not since we patched C12. Okay, so here we've got food, faux bar odd. No, it's still all the old. This is so weird, because it is totally updating. Like this load thing is being called all the time. So we have setup load, and I wish I could trace it. C12 does add a cache layer. Do you think it caches the environment variables as well? Okay, so let's have a look. C12. Here we go. It's Now, all of the change, like the HMR and on update, is stuff that was added for Nitro but was never been used for Nuxt, and it may be that we could simply do that. Yeah, debugger would work. Why am I looking at watch config? This is not it. I want to look at load config. and right, so load config is pulling us in, and Jitty is there. And basically the question is, what is .env here? So okay, let's try that. Okay, so so it's not updated here, and this is actually within C12. So that suggests that we haven't, that setup.env file has not done a thing, because in here we've logged setup, but then we've logged this here and it's not changed it. So that's probably, does it have a, let's see what keys are being passed. CWD, yeah. And that's all. Wait a second. Okay, load setup, and then load config doesn't have it. So, well, I mean, we're getting closer and closer, right? Like, this is all useful stuff, because okay, not any of this, right? Where is the, yeah, this is all Nitro. I need C12, load config. Okay, so basically we are running, I guess we're running setup.env. Oh, and let's get rid of all of the logging we're doing inside Nitro, because I don't think any of that is relevant, because we see that it's clearly not affected the, there we go, out. Okay, so fine. Okay, so load config, yeah, okay, so setup foo. This is very strange. Right, so, right, this is very funny. So we have setup.env file is pulling it in, it's returning the environment. Is it setting it? So we have got, oh, we're setting it on the environment, but maybe, that's right. Because it's checking whether the key exists or not, and it's avoiding setting it if it exists. That's the problem. It's only overriding stuff that isn't set. So how are we going to solve that? So basically we have to handle the case of no, I think we should override it. I mean, let's just confirm that that's the issue, but that's it, right? So if I change it now, it's fine. Does it come through? Yes. So that's the thing. It's only overriding stuff that this feels to be a big oversight. So, but we do have the environment, so we could handle it where in load config, which is down here somewhere. This is C12 that has the bug, but it's an issue that surfaced in Nuxt because people were changing their .env files and nothing was changing. But the reason is that C12 is avoiding. So let me just see. I guess we want it here. So this is another change, and it's unclear to me if this is going to be an acceptable change, but basically we are loading .env. So already we are avoiding applying. This should be fine. So I think what we want, yeah, fix apply all keys. Just see if that changes our test suite at all. Okay, we're changing this to be define property. We're going to say options env. Let's try that. Let me just confirm that that is going to work. we go. There we go. Okay, that's fine. Const applied symbol. Let's just check that works again. We have A. And we're going to assign A, B. I'm probably going to need to lint this again. Oh. Actually, we shouldn't need to set enumerable false because it's not enumerable. Anyway, okay, right. I'm going to have to move this cat because she is totally in the way. Okay, right. So next, I want to merge some more stuff. So we'll keep an eye on that and make sure it's around. We also, I think, can take the changes that we made in CLI and apply them. So let's just drop our package.json changes, actually all of these changes to the playground. And let's pull our stash. And here we have a couple of small changes to our env args. So this should be a fix for another set of things. Oh, remove that. And that. And that. And okay, so this should be a fix for things like if we had .env.production. Let's try this. So we're going to call this fix env file name fix pass env file name into load nuxt. And then let's just open our dev server again. First, we want to confirm that there is a bug. I think there is. I think it's reported by someone. So if we're going to do dev, and we have env.env.production, I think is what it should be. So that's loaded. We should now change the file. Interesting. Yeah, so it's not restarting, right? So it should. Also, if we change this to biob, I guess, it's not being respected. So is that really right? So no, .env. That's still a bug, right? That's not loading at all. That's so bad. Okay, if we go back to our change, let me try one more time. Maybe this is somehow my mistake. No, it's restarting properly. But why is it set to be food? It's still loading .env somewhere. Okay, so it is restarting, but somewhere we're pulling in the wrong, and it's saying loading. No, that's preview. We should have that is working fine. So there's something else that's not working. Maybe in the initial load. So we have our file name, and we should just confirm that this is correct. That's in dev child. And then we also need to pull up dev and confirm it here. And here. Try that one more time. See what happens. So we basically have in production is correct in all of these locations. That's great. Okay. A bit disturbing though, because I expect that somehow, somewhere else, we're not respecting this. Maybe somewhere in nuxt. It seems to be that way, Kevin. .env, because we do pass this in the kit loader. So I think, yeah, we need to, where do we load nuxt config? We do it when we load nuxt. We load nuxt when we load nuxt. So back to CLI. Do we ever load nuxt and not specify? That's the place. So we need to specify there we go. Let's try that. So now we're getting the right. Oh no, we're not. We are at first, and then it's wrongly coming back to the .env file. So somewhere else we are loading nuxt and not respecting this value. So we have that is correct. Where else might this be happening? And we should respect in more places these .env files, right? So prepare, build, analyze, type check also should respect it. Dev, let's just load this. Honestly, the amount of petting that is required is extreme. Load setup, load config. Oh, I bet that's probably, this log is probably coming from Nitro, so it's probably not a bug at all. It's probably fine. So the test is like, what is it actually resolving to in the in Nuxt? So we open up our Nuxt config, we pop back our runtime config, restart that, and let's see. We have got our API base, which is coming correctly through. We'll go into index and revert that change and log it one more time. And, ooh, no, it's not, because Nitro is wrongly pulling it in. Okay, so Nitro, this should be a simple fix. So Nitro is somewhere loading itself. It's not a child, it is a cat. She is a lovely cat. She is a very spoiled cat. And yes, she is very much. I think this is very, the changes here are very much the changes in Damien's it's extraordinary. Like, she's been down, not being petted only for a few minutes, and already she requires cuddles. So she is not well, like, that is also the case. But she is a very poor patient. Okay. So, somewhere else, so we are, no, I don't think we are calling load user config at all, which is the thing that would be load options. Oh, maybe it is. Is load options ever called in Nitro? Yes, it is. Okay, so load options is called. Load user config is called. And we need to provide, we need to somehow respect this, and that doesn't let us respect it. So, let's see what Puyo's thinking. Yep, okay, that's fine. Let's quickly make that change. I often do this. It's a very nice thing just to very clearly revert all your changes and see what the changes are. So we are going to instead remove this check. How are we going to flag values? Let's try this. Okay, so we basically want to do something like for const key in options env. If options env key something like that. And then we would be able to let me just check. Yeah. How are we going to do that? How are we going to flag? Okay, I'm going to need to grab a cup of tea and I will return after that. So 5 minutes and I will be back. Okay, I am back. Where are we? Okay, so we need to basically set. Woof, nice to see you. We can basically track individual keys. So we want to, I think, try. Okay, if so, we want to ignore keys that have been previously set from a .env file, which means that when we set this here, we need to track it. So, okay, so if not key in target environment, then target environment, let's try object define property, target environment key, and we'll basically say value is the environment key, but we'll also say, could I attach metadata to it somehow? Yeah, no, that's fair. Has own property would be totally good. I somehow want to attach metadata to the key, which I can do in a couple of ways. I could just say then we're going to applied key is exactly. Nice to see you, Ben. Okay, this might be fine. And then basically we probably can totally drop this. No, we still do need to assign the keys. Let's try that. And then this thing is what we use to track it. So okay, if not object, no, we're checking applied key. So, oh yeah, exactly. So if options env applied key, then we skip it. So if not options invalid key, we just set it. Okay, so that should be simpler. Let's It's simpler. It's also a little bit more complex. But let's see if this is going to work. Let's pack it. Or we could write a test for it, I guess, as well, for goodness sake. Okay, update config file. Let's try .env. So what we want to do is read a, is there a .env? Yeah. Okay. So we want to use the fixture, and we want to update it. This is fine. Actually, let's just use the update file that already exists, because it's mostly there. So we have updating existing, and then we want to update the config, .env file. And so we want to, what do we want? So this is going to be our starting point. Let's pop that in there. So we're going to const, so expect process.env what is it, .env to be undefined, await setup.env. Actually, this might be, this is not really the config updating. This is a different thing. We need a different test. So we're going to say .env. And we're just going to pull it all out, stick it there. And we are going to, before all, we're going to remove a temp directory, that's fine. And then we're going to should read .env file into memory, into process.env. And so we are going to setup.env. We're going to expect process.env to be undefined. We are going to await write file. Stop it. And we want our let's try that. Yes, sorry, the enumerable prevents looping it. So it means if you, oh, right, configurable, writable, and enumerable data descriptor. Well, that's fun. That is very fun. Okay, that's really annoying. Okay, so we could probably just track them here. But you want to set it on the target environment. So what is it complaining about? So it's complaining about the defined property. If I remove enumerable, Okay, why is it complaining now? Okay, we need to check the logic first. Well, that's weird, isn't it? Okay, so clearly my logic is wrong. So let's just drop this and see if that works. Okay. It's saying it does exist. No, it's saying it's undefined. Why would it be undefined? Are we doing something else in another file? Did I change something else? Delete that. We have .env. Why is it saying it's undefined? As in it should be there. No, it's not. Why? Oh, yeah, that it should have been .temp, right? Okay, fine. For goodness sake. Now it should fail because it didn't update. So now we have a test. Oh, hello, Mehmet. Nice to see you. Okay, so now it's oh yeah, thank you, Copilot. Should fail. Yeah, it's failing. So now we go back to our .env and we add back our test. Now it succeeds, but the problem is this is problematic. Samir, nice to see you. How are things in Paris? Is it sunny? So it requires it to be configurable, writable, and enumerable. So unless I think what we need to do instead is have a const applied variables. This new weak map, a new map, record string any record string any. And basically what we're going to do is create a new, so what we're then going to do here is basically say flags key is true. Oh, it shouldn't be, it should just be Boolean. And then what we would do here is just say basically say if not, flags key. That should be fine. No, it is gloriously sunny here too. It is good. It is very good. Okay, so we've got a test. We have this new applied variables flag. So we're going to call this variable registry, and then applied variables, maybe. Okay, so this seems to work, locally anyway. Let's pack it again, and then we'll test it in our Nux CLI project. Okay, so we're going to pop back to CLI. We are going to add a resolution for C12. There we go. And install, and then we're just going to have to, now it's not going to work because, oh, it's not going to work with the .env thing, but this should be fine. So we have food, not sure where that's being logged from. Oh, here. We're going to change our .env file to say bar. We're going to hit the endpoint, and bar is coming through beautifully. Okay, so that seems to be fine. Use flag approach. Okay, so hopefully that will okay, let's see how that goes. Back to the issue of our Nux CLI problem. We found it in Nitro. So Nitro doesn't seem to allow us to configure anything here with config overrides. It's just .env. So what we want, I guess, is to have a load user config, and that's being called here with load options. Load options doesn't seem to have a support for. Okay, so what we need to do is basically say, do we have a C12? We have an internal C12 configuration, but we ideally want to have some kind of .env. Yeah. Like this is a separate thing, but oh, let's see, maybe there is one. Not yet. Okay, .env. Oh, and I guess the problem is that this is before Nitro initializes, so it's not like you can set it in your config. It needs to be overridable here. So I think we would want to say like config overrides .env or config overrides .dev, and then config overrides, it's nitro config C12 input config, no, or a .env options, I think would be reasonable. So that seems fair. Let's try that. So fix .env override lint or it's a feature or a lint, whatever. Allow configuring location of this allows configuring option of file. Let's just confirm that we can in fact then do it. So we're loading options, and we load options when we are loading Nitro, and Nitro config here allows passing in .env options, right? Load config options. Where is that coming from? Trying to see if there's a better way of doing this, because we definitely don't want to change it for Nitro's like nitro.config. We need to make sure we're doing this in the right place. So when we create watch config options, let's yeah, I think we should move .env here and pull out instead so it'll come in from ops. There we go. Right. So this allows configuring the location, the .env file, which is needed, for example, when using a custom with Nuxt's .env argument. Otherwise, while Nuxt can load from production or similar, Nitro will always resolve load in the values from into memory. Alternatively, if we could disable the ability of Nitro. Okay. Great. So those are a couple of changes. This one I think is good. This I think is good as well. And then once we are done, we would be able to go ahead and push our changes. Okay, let's do something else. Is anyone still here, by the way? Am I just talking to myself, or are people around? I should check somehow. Twitch. Rogara, Bobby, I can't believe you. I can't believe it. It feels crazy. But thank you for being here. People are here. Amazing. Okay, go away. Right, so we should do something else. So I'm going to have a look at the next issue. This is a lot of work on one thing, but I think we can mark that this will be resolved in C12. So C. Great. So when Puya merges that, that should solve it. So that's good. It was a bug. It is an upstream bug and should be resolved. Cool. What is next? Yeah, seconds. Exactly. No, that is the way to listen to a stream, I think. Okay. Page transitions, Vite related stuff, undefined issues. Interesting. That is, I did a bad database migration and I'm pulling in stuff that's not directly Next related. Proxy, data fetching. I've just responded to that, I think. Maybe it's time to work on this. So I want to get down to, let's solve some quick bugs. Okay, so I'm looking for bugs. I'm looking for not upstream bugs. And I'm looking for some things I can easily fix. So what is something I can easily fix? So someone said something about, I saw an issue. Someone said something about a lazy hydrated components not supporting slots. does. Okay, it should be an easy bug to reproduce, and we should then, yeah, easy bugs, exactly. This is Firefox, just normal Firefox. Okay, so let's copy this and paste it into next project. Play app. There it is, and then I'm going to need lazy test, and lazy test is presumably just has a slot. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and let's try it. Oh, it's okay. So we only have the content, not the slot. So basically we have our lazy hydrated component runtime here, and we're basically passing in just the component and the attas, which is, yeah, a problem. So we need to pass in the slots as well. So which should be very quick fix, right? So if we have all of these, actually, should fix it. Right, let's just try that. Done. Okay, that was a super quick bug to fix. I love it. Okay, we should also, where are we testing lazy hydrate? Never. We've got a fixture, and we have some test IDs. Well, it feels like this is probably not something we need to test for. So fix lazy hydrated slots. Fix next. Pass slots through to lazy hydrated components. Publish the branch. Cool. That was very quick. Okay, so what's next? That was fruit on the ground. It is right. It's the best kind. Okay. I think server only component is basically no, that would have to be a server only, and lazy hydration is not server only. Okay, what's next? We want to see, so this one is an annoying one. Renaming components causes a pre-transform error, failed to load URL. So let's first look at the reproduction. And we have a component, example test, and cool. So back to main, app.view again. We'll stick our main, and then we need our component, which is going to be in components, example test.view, and if we run our dev server, cool. And so we reproduce by renaming it, say, to test view, because then it's the same, it's resolved to the same thing. Whoa, it worked. That's strange. Refresh. Also, aha, okay. So refresh and we get this. Interesting. So let's find out where that's coming from. Oops. Ah, what have I done? Okay, so somehow right. Is that back in? Is that the right? No, that's not right. So somehow I have a shortcut which I've forgotten, which moves my. Did I maximize that? No. Unmaximize. It is very bright. It's crazy bright. Okay, sorry about that, people. Close your eyes. Right. So there we go. No, why is it so big? I literally have a shortcut for this very purpose, which is somehow, have I ended up closing the file somehow? Anyway, well, let's ignore this for the moment. What are we wanting to do? We are wanting to see where this is coming from, and also this just. Let's try it again, because this is not a big error. Maybe it needs to be a bigger one. So let's try it, example test. And like I ideally it would display in the browser, but nothing new has happened. Let's change the file and see if yes, okay. Yeah, okay, so there indeed is an error that is persistent. So let's find out where this is coming from first. So I think it's coming from V, and it's coming from here, I guess. And I guess it is because this file has changed. Okay, let's see what, let's close this. Let's see where this is. So we have our components loader, and our components loader locates and changes these files. So has changed. So console log components loader, and we should also have our let's try that. So we'll restart this. It should work. We should see something print out. Yeah, the component loader. Now, if we change that file to be, say, just test, nothing changes there. Okay, so it doesn't get rerun. That's the key thing. So instead, we have an HMR update for the file, and we don't. Oh, Rogara, how do I quick swap to another project? I have a raycast extension called VS Code recent projects or something like that. And it shows the most recent projects that I've had open, and it is very, very nice. I have command 6 mapped to VS Code, and then I have command shift F6 mapped to pick a project. So it's nice and convenient. Okay, so this is the problem here. So probably if I were to hit, so here we're hitting this module, and that's failing, right? So if I just hit that, that's a bit weird. Has a different behavior from the browser than it does from the terminal, but anyway, I guess it's also requesting this. Oh yeah, that's probably why. That's why it's failing. So it's still requesting this, and this is not succeeding, right? So that's the problem that we're getting. But it probably would be fine if I requested the actual new name of it, which is example /test, right? That comes through just fine. So there's no problem with Vite in general. It's not broken. It's just that app.view isn't updating. So maybe if in loader we have a way of registering a add watch file, and basically for every import, let's try it. So we need to find the path, component file path. So where are we doing it? Okay, so we're basically saying that. Let's try this. See if that does anything for us. So now we should basically, that's loading fine. Now we're going to rename it back again to example test. No, that didn't work. Okay, so because it's not up hot reloading the. Okay, so then the other thing we can do is let me just check what add watch file is meant to do. It is changes the file's trigger rebuilds. That's not enough, right? We need to it will make sure the transform hook is also reevaluated if the watch file changes. Well, that seems right. Let's see what the and if I delete it, it describes it as an HMR update for that file, which is a bit weird. Let's just see if we can manually do this, like sit in that, like I'm still not sure this isn't a Vite bug or a rollup bug, but so we have some Vite specific options and we can handle hot update. Basically, well, this is basically we're dragging our dependencies ourselves. Now, before I do too much more, I want to see, does it work if I delete the file? Like, is it specific to the file? So if I delete this, then I have the same error actually. So So it really does feel like somehow it is a Vite bug. But I mean, having said that, maybe it's not. It's now there back again. If I rename it to example test, it's now going to be gone. Yeah. So what happens if we just manually always handle hard update is for okay. So we have our modules. So that's not going to change anything. But if we basically did something like modules.push this dot what? Server dot module graph dot by ID. What did I pull? I'm going to pull the whole thing just because I'm trying to hard code this thing. Okay, this might work. Let's see. Or it might not work actually, because we really want the app.view. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so we yeah, that doesn't work. Let's try the let's try to get the specific module. So we're looking for app.view, and we want to confirm that this exists. So right. I don't think it did come through, but what's annoying, I'm sorry, is that I actually have another call that I need to go to. I will there will be a next office hours if anyone wants to show up to that a bit later. But thank you everybody for joining me. It's been a lot of fun, and I will look forward to catching up with you another day. Bye. See you.